Hello, and welcome to yet another amazing episode of Redstone Lapis Lazuli, starring I, your host, PoGoKeRo. Hey, what's up, guys? Peace. Hello. It is I. This morning, Sunday morning. Yes. Happy Sunday morning. What's the date? It's the 23rd. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's happy winter solstice, or summer, not solstice, fall equinox. The day is equal to the night, and after today, the night becomes longer and longer and longer. So yes, today is a special day. The very stars have aligned. In fact, my co-host Captain Pones has been called off to work yet again on a Sunday morning. So here we are. I am going solo today on my own little private world at the edge of a coral sea that I've yet to explore. I haven't really done anything, right? Check it out. I live in a cave. My crops are ridiculous. But in the meantime, like, the thing I did do off camera was I made the turtle farm a bit bigger, and now I'm sporting a turtle shell helmet, so that helps me underwater a little bit. That's cool. And then for funsies, I just made a quickie version started on this. But the problem is I spawn right here, so I don't know if I want to like make my camp here. I guess I need to make a camp here to get the materials to start making something else, but hey, here we are at the spawn. Okay, so yeah, here, it's nighttime. I'm gonna go back inside and start mining, because, yeah, there's nothing else to do out here. Dump off some of the stuff. I need to find diamonds to do the next bit of stuff I want to do. Well, yeah, sure, maybe. No. I'll bring more food. What do we got here? 47 fish. Hey, that's a start. Oh, I need wood. I have no wood, really? Chop wood down. I need to sleep. Yeah, so big things going on in the world besides Minecraft. As you know, we're still locked in a battle. Trump administration is still trying to push through the Kavanaugh. These are jungle trees. That's funny. The Kavanaugh proposal, even though the dude's really bad. So we have Dr. Ford, who came out and said, yo, this guy and his buddy tried to do bad things to me back in the day, and there is no statute of limitations in Maryland. So if the Trump administration and if Senator Lindsey Graham or Grassley, I'm not sure which one, don't want to call in Brett, the other guy in that altercation, his name is Mark Judge. If he doesn't want to do it, then the state of Maryland can do it. so I think that'd be great that the Republicans can have their Supreme Court guy they pushed through under investigation for sexual assault. That's awesome. What a great judge to pick for them, right? Like, do you think Republicans are really all that concerned with the integrity of the United States, or do they have other things on the agenda? I believe they don't really care much for the integrity of the United States because they're Confederates, but hey, that's another thing we can talk about later, or I've already talked about before, but yeah. So yeah, so here's Dr. Ford saying that, yeah, here's this guy, back in the day, this is what he did, and I don't want to talk to you guys unless you guys have an FBI investigation. Because the Republicans, what they want to do is hurry up, just come in and talk real quick. So they can say, look, it's equal, right? It's he said, she said, oh, well, let's just give up, whatever. Let's keep going forward. That's what they want to do. That's what they turned Anita Hill into. The last time they did this with Clarence Thomas. Yeah. So other people, her detractors, are saying, oh no, she's lying. She's obviously lying. Because, you know, when you're lying, you ask for an FBI investigation. What? She's the one asking for the investigation, and you're saying that she's the one lying? Why don't you do the investigation? I mean, if you're so confident, and this is a Supreme Court nomination, this is for life. We have plenty of time to figure this out. Like, I think we're into like day 60 since Justice Kennedy announced his retirement. So that means that there's been a vacancy on the Supreme Court for 60 days. That's no time at all. That's like nothing. The guy before this one, when Scalia's seat was open, the Republicans left that seat open for 400 days. So we still have a year to go. We have plenty of time to do an FBI investigation. There's no rush at all. And the problem is, once we get to that 400 days, when it took to confirm, to fill Scalia's seat, what's going to happen is it's going to be a presidential election. So Trump again can't pick anybody to fill that seat, because by the Republicans' own rule, they can't pick somebody during a presidential election year. Sorry, Republicans, that's what you did to yourselves. You played yourselves. But that's what you get for messing with America, trying to be all Confederate, take over the country, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a coup. It's a Cold War, guys. It's a civil Cold War. Okay, so I got wood. I gotta plant some of these trees back so they grow again. Grow back. Live, my forest. Live. Alright, so I'm just like grabbing stuff here. Okay, so that's why it's a big deal, because when I say it's like a coup, what they're doing is that even Mitch McConnell said, the coup leader, not the coup leader, the Confederate leader, Senate leader, what he said was that if you pass a law, it lasts for maybe 4 years. But if you install judges, they're lifetime appointments. They change everything. So that's what the Republicans are trying to do. When Obama was president, the Republicans wouldn't fill any of the judgeships. They kept them empty forever. That's why Harry Reid had to kill part of the filibuster, because the Republicans were blocking so many of the judicial process that the courts are getting overloaded. Because the Republican strategy is to fill the judgeships with only Republican operatives, that for life, so they can control the country until they die, forever, a long time. It's totally undemocratic. Yeah, so it's pretty awful. And that's what they're doing. Now that Trump is in office, they're trying to speed through and get as many judges confirmed as possible. Even though a traitor is the one who did it, because they're on board with the coup, remember. Even though Trump is from Russia, is a Russian dude, the Republicans are okay with it. They're like, we don't mind that we're giving control to Russia as long as we get our judges in the government. Wow. Okay, Republicans. I mean, if you want to be on that side of history, okay. I mean, we're not gonna forget. So yeah, okay. I got wood. I wanna go cook some food. Some fish. So yeah. So that we got that going. That's pretty important, and I'm gonna tell you why that's important. Because this guy obviously is not very cool to women, and considering women are half our population, if you're not cool with half the people of your country, you probably shouldn't be a judge. Like the idea of chattel slavery and of dehumanizing another human for your benefit, that's like it's an idea that's hard to kill. The expressions, it wants to keep growing. It feels entitled to keep growing, and it's difficult to snuff out this idea that of chattel, of ownership of superiority over another human being. Like, you gotta snuff it out, because it's only bad news. It doesn't do any good. Like, yeah, humans are great individually, of course, right? Individual humans are wonderful. But you're not gonna be like, one type is superior to another type. That's, like, ridiculous. They're humans, homie. Okay. Ooh, look at a pretty cave. Pretty pain cave. And the torches, I'm not gonna go in the dark. Alright, I have coal, I have fish right there. I have fish right here. Put some more in there. So when I come back, I have more food to eat. Dump this in the nature box. That's food. That should be enough. 12 fishes. Throw the salmon in there. What are you doing, dude? That's enough food. I have wood galore. Wood for days. Jungle wood. Hey, I'll take that. I'll leave that and take the oak. Too much. Fishing pole. Shears. More iron. Make more tools. I have no iron, really? Man, I really am living survival, huh? This is a brand new world. I had nothing. All right, so that's unacceptable. I need steps. Okay, so women are half our population. They have just as many rights as men. Right? I don't know what the deal is. Why it's such a hard thing to understand. I don't know. Okay. It's encoded, so it's not obvious. It's not clear. That's why they encode it, so it's not clear. Like, it's really, like, okay, I was at the Saturday market, and, like, it's really easy to get angry at someone who disagrees with you, but, like, there's no need to get all personal about it. It doesn't help anything, because the person is irrelevant. It's the ideas we're discussing. When you hurt the person, you shut down discussion. Because then it's like, now it's a fist fight instead of a discussion. Not literally, you know what I mean, metaphorically speaking. We're not talking about ideas. We're talking about, oh, I have to defend myself against a stupid allegation or a stupid whatever insult. So it shuts things down. Yeah, I figured this is the spot. All right. So yeah, okay, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah. Okay, so now you have to understand the nature of this kind of thing we're in is a lot different than what people are accustomed to, or what they, you know, whenever people think of warfare and they think of battles and stuff, they think of like what the movie taught them or what history has shown them, which is like violence, like physical violence, blood, and soldiers on a battlefield. Like, we've all been kind of conditioned to think that's what war is, but that's what makes this war so weird, is because this war is different. It's all about information, right? You don't want to hurt things because things are valuable, and if you destroy them, you have to just rebuild them, spend money to rebuild them. Much better to capture them intact when they're still operational. You preserve their value. So you don't want to blow things up if you can avoid it, because you can, when you capture it, you can just use it for your stuff. Like, a factory doesn't care who's using it, but if it's blown up, it's not going to make anything. So the idea of this new kind of asymmetrical information war, it's not to blow things up. It's to get people to behave and think differently. And the way that they do it now is basically Fox News and their right wing. They kind of made this machine, this right-wing machine, where they conditioned people to only accept information from the right-wing media. But the problem is, once they made that machine and they had people plugged into that, and it works, right? Because like, if you're not gonna, if you make decisions based on the information you take in. So if someone controls all the information that goes in that you see, then you're going to make rational decisions based on that information. And it's really, really hard to get people to accept that they've been tricked if they've come to this decision based on their own rational mind. So it's like these people who got knocked into a coma and they were unconscious. Then while they were unconscious, they were dragged into the holodeck. You know, from like Star Trek, The New Generation? They were dragged into the holodeck. And then they made the world, so that when they woke up, they're like, oh wow. And they believe they woke up in the real world, but they're on the holodeck. So they're going through life, and then weird stuff starts happening, just crazy stuff. But they're like, oh my god, what's going on? But they'll start to believe it, right? Because they think they're in the real world. Like, they're like, this is what must be going on. Right? If you control everything around them, your decisions, you're gonna be like, I saw it with my own eyes. You know, you're gonna believe it. So yeah. So it's not like these people are dumb. You're not gonna do anything by saying you're dumb. They're not dumb. Maybe not educated, but they're not dumb. And you don't need an education to be smart. Like, it helps, right? But you can figure out how to work your brain, you can still work your brain. Alright, where am I even? I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, I was digging all this stuff out, that's right. Okay. Raw! What else was I talking about? Okay, so now that you know that this new kind of warfare is information, now let's look over at something that just happened in the news. On Friday, the New York Times reported a story, and in this story, it said that Rod Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general and the boss of Robert Mueller, this guy, the story said that Rod Rosenstein wanted to wiretap the president and then impeach him with the 25th Amendment by saying that he was unfit to serve. And the New York Times said I got this information like fourth hand from a guy that heard from a guy that heard from a guy that said this. And so the New York Times posted the story and says this is what we believe to be true. So everyone reads the story. It's like, oh my God, Rod Rosenstein was trying to like impeach the president, and he's all being underhanded about it. And then like maybe an hour later, other people on Twitter, Marcy Wheeler, Empty Wheel, she pointed out, wait a minute, this sounds fishy. Don't buy into it. About an hour later, other sources came out, and they said, no. That New York Times story is all wrong. Someone planted that story. It's false. Because when he said it sarcastically. He was saying they were talking. He and like Andrew McCabe were talking about something, and Rod Rosenstein said, "What do you want me to do, Andy? Wiretap the president? I mean, come on. What do you want? Jeez." And so he wasn't offering it like a real thing. It was like exasperation. But it was falsely reported in the New York Times. Someone anonymously planted it in the New York Times, this false information, and then they started spreading it. So a whole bunch of people tried to come up behind it, the story, and try to block it off, saying, no, this is not true. But Trump, who always says that the New York Times is fake news and lying, Trump, this guy, comes up, picks up the New York Times story and says, oh, look it, I have to clean out the FBI. I have to get rid of Rod Rosenstein because look what he's doing and saying. He picks up this fake news story that he probably planted himself, and it's like, oh, look, now I have an excuse to go get rid of people. This is information war, man. This is what it's coming to. Team Trump, their enemy is the truth. So what they're gonna try to do is to try to hide the truth as much as possible. They want to make things as muddy as possible so you can't see. They want to make things cloudy. They want to distract you so that you don't keep your eye on what's important. The other day, I was down at the Saturday market with my sign proclaiming that Trump is a traitor. And there was a man there who, no matter what, he always said, what about Clinton? What about Clinton? What about Clinton? He'd look at my sign and say, what about Clinton? What about Clinton? What about Clinton? What about Clinton? That's all he would do. Like, that's an old Soviet propaganda technique, Russian propaganda technique called whataboutism. That no matter what the person says, you always say what about and point to something else. That way you distract them from the thing they're trying to talk about, and they never get to talk about it. So this man the other day saw my sign and came up to me and kept shouting at me, what about Clinton? What about Clinton? And anytime I tried to talk, he would talk over me and proclaim that I wouldn't let him speak. It was so funny. He projected onto me what he was doing. And so it was pretty disingenuous because I was trying to have a conversation with an older gentleman who really wanted to know what was going on. That's what this is about. This is what I want to foster, is real civil discourse. But this crazy dude, this Russian plant, this guy has been hacked by the Russians. He came up and started talking, what about Clinton? What about Clinton? So loud that he polluted our conversation that we couldn't have it anymore. So he protected the brainwashing, the Republican brainwashing. He protected it. It's warfare. Do you see? This guy was this older gentleman. He was a white man, older man. He's a Republican, but he wanted to really know what was going on. So he honestly listened to me. So I was trying to be honest, good faith, explain to him and answer his questions about stuff. And as I was doing this crazy dude, this guy who's been hacked by Russia, came into our conversation and started shouting about what about Clinton and wouldn't let me talk. So this other woman saw what was coming on, and then she came in to defend me against this crazy guy. But then she started to personally attack the older gentleman. And so this poor older gentleman just wanted to have a good faith conversation. But it turned into a battle. Like a serious battle. Where now she's, because I don't think she understood the context. So she thought they were both my enemy. So she started attacking the older gentleman. And he had nothing to do with it. He just wanted to know. But she started to like to personally attack him, to say that you are a bad human, that you personally are deficient. And I was like, wait a minute, come on, slow down, you can't be doing that. And then this guy, the Russian hat guy, he used that as an opportunity to shout even louder. So this poor man, who only wanted to have a nice conversation, got sucked into the whirlwind of this larger battle that we're in, about information. This is the hand-to-hand combat that I'm talking about, that we're in. When you can't have a decent conversation with people in public without being attacked from all sides, like, things are nuts. That's what we're at. So the end result was that I wasn't able to really fully talk to this older gentleman because the Russian malware that's been installed into this older man was defended by Russian malware implanted in this other dude who came by and shouted, "What about Clinton?" It was nuts. It was nuts. Sorry, I stopped moving here. I got too involved in my story. That's the nature of warfare that we're in. Like, just like our corporations don't, like, it used to be in the olden days when country from Europe wanted to colonize or take over, get the resources from a country, a less developed country. They would send their armies and physically and militarily oppose them. But that's exhausting and taxing, and it doesn't work, and that's why it all collapsed after World War II, because you can't maintain military dictatorship over a nation. Like, later on, the Americans figured out you could do it with corporations instead. You don't have to send military. You can send corporations to do it, and you use your businesses to make arrangements and such. And then you only use your military if you have to, like Chile, 1971, 9/11. Don't forget. Yeah, so yeah, America would only, or the West would send its corporations over to take over a country. That way you don't have to send your military as much. Well, then the Russians are like, well, look, we don't have a military to send really anywhere because it can't really project power too well. But we can send our hackers everywhere, and so that's what they've done. They've hacked into everything. Russian hackers are great. So, I mean, look what they've done. They've hacked into Americans' brains. I was talking to a guy, and a guy said to me he would rather vote for Trump, knowing that Trump is on Team Russia, than Clinton. So I had to reiterate. So you would rather be on Team Russia than be on Team America. Like, I tried to break it down to him as clear as possible, and like, he wouldn't accept it. That's how bad the brain hacking is. Man. Alright, well, that's not adult stuff here. What else am I doing here? I'm supposed to be digging for stuff, and I totally got distracted. It's because I'm in gravel land. I need to get out of gravel land here. If I get out of gravel, there we go. This is a lot better. Hey, redstone. I'll get some of that too. Okay, so there's Brett Kavanaugh, there's that. So yeah, Trump administration, Nazis, I'm gonna say they're Nazis. Fascism, like they're locking up kids, and then they say, hey, immigrant families over here in America, come get these kids that we locked up in cages. So these immigrant families come pick up the kids, and as they come pick up the kids, they get caught by ICE. so I didn't get, so like, that's like, they're using kids as bait. Ice. Like, that's like Nazi tactics. This is Nazi tactics. Sorry, dude, that's, like, there's a huge part of the American government that's Nazi right now. The thing that we said that we'd never be, well, we're there. Like, a large part of it. And I don't think we're all the way full as much as, you know, we're not killing people yet in mass. But I know where we'd be going, right? We've already done it. We've already killed people in mass before. It's not like we won't do it again. We couldn't do it again. So, like, that's why I'm reminding Americans, don't let us go there. Don't go there. That's an awful, awful thing we've done. I don't ever want to do that again, because then, like, you make it really hard to want to be an American, right? Like, what's all your talk about ideals if you can't live up to them? I gotta go. Oh no. Okay. I got. No problem, man. Don't panic. I got wood. That's all I need is wood. Make a furnace. Put in some coal. Smelt some iron. No need to panic, homie. So yeah. So here's the other problem. So, like, Trump is a dictator, and let me see, he doesn't respect democracy or freedom or anything else like that. You know who else is a dictatorship? Authoritarian? China. China is particularly scary because they're using technology to really clamp down on freedom. They have this thing called a social credit score. They use the computers to give everyone a score. Like, and if your score goes too low, your social score goes too low, they ban you from transportation and things like that. And who says what your score is? The government. So if you make the government mad, they'll just lower your score, and you can do nothing about it. Like, they'll shut off your power, take your kids, like, whatever. Because if you say, like, oh, you weren't nice enough to the government, you didn't say good things about the government, you gotta go. Like, I already did a show about that one artist woman in China who not only got arrested and disappeared, but her father got arrested and disappeared, and anyone who talked about her got arrested and disappeared by the Chinese government, right? Why? Because she splashed paint on his picture. Like, that's awful. That's what Trump wants. Trump would love it if he could imprison people for splashing paint on his picture. His little tiny ego, oh yeah, or his little frail ego would shatter. He'd love to imprison people. He's an evil guy, dude. I hate Trump. So yeah. What do I need? I need a pickaxe or two. So people gotta know, man. People gotta know about the bad and the good. What else is going on? Yeah, so don't be like China. We should not be looking at China as any kind of model whatsoever. Like in fact, I mean, like, when we look at China, we gotta be like, yo, those Chinese people, wouldn't it be nice if they were free? if they weren't getting locked up by the government for speaking out against their government, against injustice. Wouldn't that be nice if they were free too? But see, I am not a neoliberal, where I want to be like, spread democracy with the markets. No, I'm more like, spread democracy by having a better society, by showing that you're better. then you don't have to do nothing. The people who see you doing better will demand it from their government, from their people, from their government. So you don't have to do nothing. Just be cool, and people will follow. Yeah, because neoliberals, while like it sounds noble to spread democracy in markets, the problem is that there's too much emphasis on markets and not enough emphasis on people. So you tend to pass policies that are good for businesses but not good for people. And yeah, sure, that can be ameliorated, but yeah. That's what socialism is all about, the amelioration of the excesses of capitalism, right? Via the government. They're controlled by the people. How do you know the people control government? The policies that come out of government help people. That's how you know the people control government. How do you know when the oligarchs control government? The policies that come out of government help the oligarchs. Wait a minute, didn't the GOP just pass a law, a tax reform, that helped the super rich? Jeez, I wonder who controls the government. So yeah. So I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to be digging for diamonds here, but I'm just digging holes. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to dig out. I was gonna go back up, and I couldn't because I haven't done this part of the thing yet. I put steps, but I didn't clear the ceiling. So, yeah. Okay, but here, on uplifting news, Japan just landed 2 rovers on an asteroid. That's amazing, dude. Japan was the first to land anything on an asteroid and bring it back. They were the first country to do that. And then, now, they've landed 2 rovers on an asteroid and just like driving around on the asteroid. That's awesome, dude. That's amazing what they're doing. Like, they're gonna make those robots pretty soon. Those big mechas. I'm telling you. Yeah, dude. I want to make molten salt nuclear reactors so we can get off of oil and burn up all of our nuclear waste that we already made. And then if we're off of oil, then we can stop a lot of the war because that'll all be meaningless. And then Indonesia can stop chopping down its jungle to plant palm oil plantations and killing the orangutans, because that's awful. Orangutans are like our cousins, dude. It's terrible that we're genociding them for profit, to feed them invisible to feed an extra dimensional being we're willing to kill our cousin. Like, how lame is that of us? We can't do that. That's stupid. And orangutans are our cousins. I don't care, dude. Like, they grew on this planet of Earth with us, so they're our cousins. Yeah. Alright, what time is it? 40 minutes into it. What else can I be talking about? Eminem? I already did that one. That was awesome. Total destruction. I didn't even know. Alright, what else can I talk about? I don't even know what else is going on. So in Oregon, I think there's this Proposition 103, and the way they're advertising it is saying no to taxes on groceries, and they want to do a constitutional amendment. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think that's a tricky subliminal, not subliminal, a tricky marketing thing. I think this is a right-wing thing because they want to do a constitutional amendment about taxes. That doesn't sound right. You don't need constitutional amendment regarding taxes. Like, I don't know. I think I'm wondering if that's the one that says you need a 3/5 majority to raise taxes. If that's the one it is, that's a terrible law. You should vote no on that for sure, because that's what California did, and it screwed them up for decades. Like, if Oregon does that, we're gonna wreck our country or our state. Yeah, don't do that, Oregon. Don't make it Don't make a supermajority needed to raise taxes, because that just wrecks things. Like, look at the history of California. They're only just now pulling themselves out of it because Republicans can't block things anymore with that law that they passed, their version of the law. That was great stuff I got. Oh, 11's right here. This is the one I want to be on. This is level 13. Oh, I'm a little too high. Here we go, 11. This is 12. 11. There we go. This is the level I want to be on. Oh, man, I got the wrong level. What else do I want to talk about? I was thinking about wormholes. Check this out. All right, so we all know that okay. So so Einstein, because of Einstein, we know that E equals mc squared. So what that means is that the closer a thing gets to the speed of light, anything made of matter, the closer it gets to the speed of light, the more massive it becomes. So it takes more energy to go faster. The closer you get to the speed of light, the more energy it takes to get there, and to the point where it takes infinite energy to go any faster. So that's why you cannot take any matter. Anything made of matter cannot ever get to the speed of light. It can never go to light speed, because to get to that point requires infinite energy. That's just the way it is. So right now, that's how we get around, right? We push things around at sub-light speeds. We're like way below light speed. We're way below. But even then, we can show that, like, yeah, that's how it works. Light can go at light speed because light has no mass. Light is pure energy. So, like, there's no, like... So you can increase its mass infinitely, because there is no mass to increase. Anything times 0 is 0. So that makes it, that's a problem, right? Because when we look at the universe, we measure it in terms of light years. how many years it takes for light to travel, or how far light can travel in 1 year. Light can travel like, oh wow, check that out. Look at this, look at this. Perfect, 11 is great. It's right at lava level. Ooh, there's a cave up there. Should I check it out? No, because I want to find diamonds. And anything above me, it's not diamonds. So I'm gonna keep going. Oh, I should have brought a bucket of water. I forget about that all the time. Okay, so if that's a big problem because the universe is like stupidly big. Like you can't even conceive of how big it is. It's so big, it just breaks your head. It breaks my head. There's just no way of, you can try and it hurts. Like if you really, really try, oh God, oh man. Your brain's just like throbbing like you're a mere human. You can't do it. So yeah, so if we want to travel this great expanse of time, of space, we can't do it through the way we normally do it by just like going faster and faster, because to do that we'll never get there, because we can't even get to light speed, and when you go at light speed it takes hundreds of thousands of years to go anywhere. At light speed, going as fast as light. So now to the light it doesn't matter, right? Because there's no time. Light, there's zero time when you're going to the speed of light. You're pure energy, so time doesn't exist. It has to do with like with frames of reference and relativity. Oh man, like I don't want to go too far, but okay. So if we want to do it, if we want to explore the universe, we're not gonna go do it at these sublight speeds. We got to find another way of doing it, and we're not gonna do it by running faster, because we can only go so fast until we can't go any faster by physics. So the way we're gonna do it is through like a wormhole. So like basically we're gonna go on another dimension like that. Look at Deep Space Nine in Star Trek. Like they guard a wormhole, and a wormhole is a way of getting from point A to point B, huge gaps of space, without actually going through that space, because that would take too long. So you have to go you travel somewhere else, and then you pop out in point B. Because remember, you can't go that fast in this space. Man, I need enough iron ore. I didn't even make it. Oh yeah, I let's see. So, but I think about that. What does that mean when you travel in a wormhole? Because like I don't think it's instantaneous when you travel in a wormhole. You're literally in a different place for a little while. Like you have to spend time somewhere. I don't think you can just do it for free. You have to spend time somewhere. So if you're in a wormhole, I wonder, like, time is passing. Okay, so it's like midnight when you go into the wormhole at point A. You're in the wormhole, and then when you're in the wormhole, you travel inside this other dimension for like 1 hour. So it's 1 a.m. For you. When you pop out of the wormhole, now you're in point B. Point B is like thousands of light years away. So if you tried to go over time, it would take thousands of light years to do it. But you went through a wormhole. So for the frame of reference for this universe, your trip was instantaneous. You went in the wormhole at midnight, and you come out at midnight 1 second or something. But for the people in the wormhole, you've aged an extra hour. So you come in the wormhole at 12 a.m. midnight, but you pop out being old at 1 year old. So to the universe, it looked like you aged instantly 1 year. That's how I think wormholes work. So you could have a baby in a wormhole and have that baby grow up and pop back out of the wormhole, and it'll be to the universe, it'll be instantaneous. That it'll grow in a baby and pop out an adult instantly. That trips me out. I don't know if that's just like crazy Sunday morning thinking or what. That just was fun. I was thinking about wormholes and faster than light travel, because that's like, yeah, I mean, you gotta have faster than light travel somehow. If we can think of it, it can be done. So hey. I mean, that's a whole story you can write about someone popping out of a wormhole into the universe. It looked like it was instantly grown up. That'd be trippy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would have to suppose that you leave the universe if you go into this other dimension. That would mean multiverse, but then isn't the multiverse part of the universe, right? Because all those multiverses have to belong to something, which is they all belong to one giant verse, which is made up of, like, when you fractalize it, yeah, it turns into a multiverse, but it's like the universe before that. You have to have something whole before you can fractalize it. Whether it be a number or whatever. Concept. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. Happy Sunday morning. Woo. Oh, there's a march today. There's also another proposition. I think it's 105 in Oregon that you gotta vote no on. That's the law that. So a bunch of bigots decided that, hey, we can't get rid of brown people ourselves, so we want to get the federal government to come in and do it for us to get rid of brown people. Because they're bigots and they're assholes. So they want to pass a law saying that says, they want to say yes, they want to pass a law 105, the Proposition 105, that says Oregon will help ICE to turn Oregon to Gestapo state. Ooh, check it out, diamonds. Yay! Well, that's a no. We want to say no to that because we don't want to be a Gestapo state. We're Americans. We don't do that kind of crap. That's nonsense. ICE is terrible. You don't want to help them out. Like, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. So, yeah, this is going to be March Day. I'm going to see if I can work that out. I don't know how this is going to work. But, that's super muy importante. You do not want to assist the Nazis in doing Nazi things. No. Right? Americans resist Nazis. Diamonds out of that? Yeah, buddy. That's enough for a pickaxe. My first diamonds. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tasty. Alright. What time is it? It's almost the hour, huh? Well, let's see. Without a co-host, I mean, I kind of ran through all my topics. Make sure you vote. Make sure you get registered. Say hello to your parents and your grandparents. Give them a call. I gotta work on my resume. I gotta do a bunch of stuff. Oh man, that's okay. It's all good. Hey, I've got no more things. Time to go. Okay, guys. Well, there's the end of my mind. Out of my normal mind, I can pick something. So I would use this opportunity to say, peace out, America. Take care. See you next time. Stop streaming.